Mabuhay! Welcome to our exciting video tutorial, proudly brought to you by the BSHM Department of the College of Hospitality and Tourism Management here at Quirino State University, Dipon Campus. I am Bernard Villa, and together with me is Sir Lemuel Rivera. We are thrilled to showcase a unique pastry product innovation that highlights one of Quirino's finest gastronomic treasures, the calabasa. So, ready your ingredients and let's turn this humble squash into something truly extraordinary. Let's get started.
Start by peeling the vegetable, cutting it into smaller pieces to remove the seeds. Cut the calabasa into cubes and boil it until soft. Check the texture of the boiled calabasa using fork. If the vegetable is soft enough to mash, remove the calabasa from the boiling water using a strainer and put into a mixing bowl. Mash the boiled calabasa until smooth. You can use food processor or fine mesh sieve to achieve smoother result. Add coconut milk, condensed milk, evaporated milk and cornstarch into the mashed calabasas. You can add a few drops of yellow food coloring to enhance the color. Mix thoroughly, then transfer into a pan, stirring to avoid lumps. On medium-high heat, set the mixture to boil. Keep stirring constantly until the mixture thickens. Set aside. For the calabasa chips, which will be used for garnish, simply slice thin crescent shape of calabasa flesh. Trim the sides for even shape. Then, simply fry the vegetable until crispy. In a bowl, mix together the egg whites, flour, powdered sugar. Mix thoroughly until all ingredients are blended together. Then, add the butter and continuously mixing. Transfer into a silicone mat, spread thinly. Bake in a preheated oven for 15 to 20 minutes. Using a food processor, reduce the peanut pralini into powder form. Mix the crushed palette feuilletine into the blended pralini. In a double boiler, melt the white chocolate. Once melted, remove from heat, then pour the whipping cream to make a paste. Cover with cling wrap, then chill for 20 minutes. Beat the mixture for about 2 minutes until you achieve a stable soft peak.
Hey food lovers! If you are a fan of Filipino food or simply looking tired to something new and bold today, you're in for a treat. Get ready because we are about to dive into one of the most iconic, flavorful, and comforting dishes from the Philippines. Beef tripe kare-kare! Now, if you're wondering what in the world is tripe, don't worry, I've got you covered. We're talking about tender, melt-in-your-mouth beef tripe, slow-cooked in rich, savory peanut sauce and paired with crunchy veggies. Oh, and best part, we're making it from scratch. So, buckle up, because we're about to bring the flavors of the Philippines right to your kitchen.
Now, let's prepare our beef tripe. Wash it under running water to remove any impurity. Now, let's prepare the veggies. Trim the ends of the string beans and cut them into 2-inch pieces. Slice your eggplant into thin. We'll fry this later for that crispy texture. Chop the Chinese cabbage into bite-sized pieces. This will soak up that peanut sauce beautifully. Place the tripe in a pot, cover it with water, bring it to a boil, then lower the heat. Boil some water with a pinch of salt and blanch the string beans, Chinese cabbage, and banana blossom for 1 to 2 minutes. Heat oil in a pan and fry the eggplant slices until golden brown. Now that the tripe is cooked, slice the beef tripe into 1-inch strips so it absorbs the flavors well. Heat the annatto oil in a pan and saute some chopped onions, garlic, and ginger until golden and fragrant. Now, add in our tender beef tripe and saute it for a few minutes. In the same pan, saute another batch of onions and garlic to create the base for our sauce. Now, add water to dissolve the peanut butter properly. Once the water is warm, stir in half a cup of peanut butter until smooth. Next, add in our crushed peanuts for the signature texture. Let this simmer until the sauce thickens and reaches a rich and velvety consistency. Now, for the fun part, our sizzling presentation. Heat a sizzling plate and melt some butter on it. Lay down the Chinese cabbage, string beans, fried eggplant, and banana blossom neatly on the plate. Now, add our deliciously tender beef tripe right on top. Finally, drizzle that rich peanut sauce all over. Hear that sizzle? That's the sound of pure kare-kare. See you next time for more sizzling kitchen adventures.
Introducing the Tibig Muffin, a delicious healthy twist on your favorite baked snack. Made with the unique Tibig fruit, also known as Ficus nota, this muffin is a delightful fusion of traditional baking with local, sustainable ingredients. Join us as we explore the health benefits, market potential, and economic impact of this innovative treat. As we seek healthier food options, the Tibig muffin rises to the occasion. Infused with the nutritious Tibig fruit, this muffin addresses the growing demand for locally sourced, health-conscious snacks. By promoting the use of indigenous fruits, the Tibig muffin supports sustainable agriculture, encouraging the cultivation of Tibig trees and reducing reliance on imported ingredients. Not only is the Tibig muffin a delicious snack, but it's also a groundbreaking product in the baking industry. The use of Tibig fruit adds a new dimension to the muffin-making process, offering both a unique taste and numerous health benefits. This innovative ingredient is set to inspire future trends in the baking industry, opening doors to healthier and more sustainable products. The potential of the Tibig muffin extends far beyond just this one product. The technology used to incorporate Tibig fruit into baked goods can be adapted to a wide variety of products, from cakes and breads to cookies and even savory items. This opens up exciting opportunities for the food industry to explore local fruits, creating a healthier and more sustainable food landscape. The Tibig muffin isn't just for anyone, it's for those who care about their health, the environment, and supporting local farmers. Health-conscious individuals, eco-friendly consumers, and food lovers eager for innovative new products will find the Tibig muffin to be the perfect addition to their snack routine. This is more than a muffin, it's a movement toward a healthier, more sustainable future. By introducing Tibig muffins to the market, we open up new opportunities for local farmers, bakers, and businesses. Tapping into both the local and global markets, this product can significantly boost the agricultural sector and help diversify the country's income streams. The creation of Tibig-based food products offers the potential for job creation and economic growth, while supporting sustainable practices and local communities. The Tibig muffin is more than just a treat, it's a symbol of innovation, sustainability, and local pride. From its unique health benefits to its potential to support local economies, the Tibig muffin is paving the way for a new era of healthy, sustainable snacking. Join us in embracing this delicious revolution.
Banana is one of the major crops grown in the province of Quirino. The total area planted to banana is approximately 8,100 hectares, spanning in all the municipalities of the province. Banana growers are basically smallholders, owning an average of 2 hectares per family. Banana production has been a significant source of income of the local people. However, in the early 2000s, the industry was beset by a lot of problems, natural calamities like typhoons, drought, and occurrence of pests and diseases. The banana bunchitop virus, or the BBTV, is perhaps been the most destructive among all the identified problems. BBTV is caused by the banana aphid, the Pentalonia nigro nervosa, which hampers the growth and negatively affects productivity. Rehabilitation of the banana industry is the need of the time. Alongside with rehabilitation is the introduction of alternative cultivars that are of economic importance and are resistant to pests and diseases. To address this situation, a solution was approved by the University's Board of Regents through Resolution Number 31-32-208, Series of 2021. The establishment and operation of the Banana Resources Research and Development Center of Quirino Province. This milestone in banana endeavor of the university was realized through the effort of Dr. Elizabeth T. Curry, the Vice President for Academic and Research, and through the leadership of Dr. Hermenegilda F. Samoy Jr., the university president. The decade of hard work on research, development, extension of tissue-cultured banana by the faculty and staff of the university's Ardet Department is a manifestation of dedication to boost the banana industry of the province. Package of Technology or POT on tissue-cultured banana production and management were introduced to the farmers through the assistance of PICARD, that made it possible for the development of site-specific package of technologies. The package of technologies on tissue-cultured banana production and management includes micropropagation technique, nursery management, site establishment and field management, and pest and disease management. Micropropagation technique for the production of TCBs includes selection of healthy sword-type suckers from a healthy mat. These will be cleaned and processed as source of explants that will follow a series of subculture activities to produce numerous numbers of disease-free Mary plants. It takes 5 to 6 months of culturing activities inside an aseptic environment before the hardening process of Mary plants commence and the nursery transplanting happens. It was recorded that using the banana tissue culture protocol can result to a minimum of 30 Mary plants produced from a single explant when compared to the conventional method of planting material production. This shows that the efficiency of utilizing tissue culture technology to cope up the increasing demand of planting materials in the shorter time as possible. The nursery management technology primarily focuses on the post-laboratory and pre-plantation care requirements of the TCBs. Freshly deflowered TCBs are termed Mary plants and require immediate post-lab care. Mary plants are immediately soaked on a pre-prepared fungicide solution to avoid rotting and death. They are tended, dipped on a solution with rooting hormones to further enhance the root growth of the Mary plants before they are planted inside a growth chamber. Planting them inside a growth chamber for 1 to 2 weeks serves as the primary hardening stage. A secondary stage of hardening followed by uprooting the Mary plants in the growth chamber and replanting on individual polybags that contain a mixture of soil media. Individual plants are watered as frequent as possible, given fertilizer when needed, apply insecticide when required, de-leaf when necessary, and remove weed regularly. The height, number of leaves, and the date of transplanting serve as the indicators that the transplanted TCBs are now ready for outplanting. The third package of technology is on plantation establishment and field management. Plantation establishment includes site selection, planting material selection, land preparation, plan for plantation establishment, hole digging, planting, and watering. It is recommended that the site should have a water source but not of low-lying areas that could accumulate water for a long period of time. Utilization of disease-free planting materials such as TCB is also recommended. Sucker is also an alternative, but it should come from a clean, disease-free, and healthy mat, and sword-type sucker is the best choice. Land should be prepared thoroughly, and it is recommended to till the land if it is not used for a period of 2 years to incorporate the organic matters and increase soil aeration. Holes should not be so wide and not so deep. 1 foot wide and 8 inches deep could be enough as a planting hole. At least 1 kilogram mixture of compost and carbonized rice hull with 10 grams of complete fertilizer is given to every plant upon transplanting. The synthetic fertilizer serves as an immediate nutrient source of the plant, while the compost and carbonized rice hull serve as a longer nutrient source. Field management, on the other hand, provide an interlinking activities of post-field establishment. Field management provide activities specific to every growth stage of the plant, such as fertilizer application, weeding, desuckering, pre-plowing stage activities, fruiting stage activities, and pre- and post-harvesting activities. The fourth package of technology is the management of pests and diseases. The common diseases experienced by the banana industry of the province are the BBTB and Sigatoka. These diseases are easy to manage, but most farmers neglect to control their spread. Both of the aforementioned diseases can be managed easily by right care and management of the field. Due to the growing demand for tissue-cultured banana plantlets, the university once again started its quest to upscale the success of earlier endeavor by sourcing out external funds to intensify research and development as well as extension and production activities. In 2018, a project titled Upgrading of Tissue-Cultured Facility Towards Efficient Production of High-Value Crops was approved by the Department of Agriculture through the Bureau of Agricultural Research for its implementation. The project is focused on the procurement of various equipment which are still lacking in the tissue culture laboratory, renovation of the tissue laboratory, the renovation of the nursery, to cover the improvement of the hardening area, the preparation area, and the stock room. All these activities are expected to contribute in increasing the volume of quality and virus-free planting materials for high-value crops like banana. Another project was approved by the DA Bar for implementation during the year 2020-2021 with a 5 million grant to support the promotion and utilization of tissue-cultured banana, which is expected to eventually increase the income of banana farmers in the province. The project is expected to produce and commercialize tissue-cultured banana in partnership with 2 PO associations, promote the utilization of tissue-cultured banana through the establishment and maintenance of demonstration farms, conduct market study and establish market linkage with different organizations within and outside the province, conduct research activities on various stages of tissue-cultured banana production and cultivation, and develop, produce, and distribute manual on tissue-cultured plant production. Other IEC materials on tissue-cultured production and management as well as documentation of best practices on tissue-cultured banana production and cultivation. The research department have also established less than a hectare of banana plantation situated inside the university as a source of corms for further research and production. The department also envisions to establish live gene bank of different banana varieties both for gene collection and field shows. The Department of Science and Technology through its regional office stepped in to help the university on this endeavor. DOST Region 2 provided funding for the construction of 2 working areas for the 2 partnered POs of the university in the municipality of Aglipay. As an agricultural university, the Research and Development, Extension and Training Department of the university continuously upholds the mandate of the university in technology generation and development that suits the needs of our various clienteles. Looking forward, through the operation of the Banana Resources Research and Development Center, we hope to develop tissue culture production protocols for other economically important banana varieties. In partnership with funding agencies and farmer cooperators, we hope to establish and maintain banana plantation, which could be our source of corms for the mass production of virus-free and clean planting materials for Lakatan, Saba, Latundan, Buyod, and other banana varieties of economic importance.
We live in a world where undernutrition and obesity can exist side by side in the same country, home, or even person. Foods high in sugars, salt, and/or unhealthy fats are leading to unhealthy diets and are one reason why children may not be growing healthily, while causing other people to develop overweight or obesity.
afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome on the third and last leg of our 2025 International Spring Convergence on Gastronomic Tourism, Food Diplomacy, and Sustainability, hosted by Quirino State University. Today's event is still anchored on the theme Culinary Heritage as a Tool for Sustainable Development. Early on, what we've watched or seen are our food documentaries highlighting the rich and diverse gastronomic traditions that have shaped communities and nations. These stories hope to have prepared our minds and palates for the insightful discussions ahead. So to formally open the convergence, we shall now begin with a moment of solemnity and unity through an opening prayer followed by the QSU hymn and the national anthem of the Philippines and Indonesia.
The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord lift his countenance upon you and give you peace. And give you peace. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. And be gracious, the Lord be gracious, gracious unto you. Amen. Amen. Bayang magiliw, perlas ng silanganan, alab ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuloy ka ng magiting, sa manlulupig, di ka pasisid. Sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bukaw, may nilagang tula at awit sa pagnayang minamahal. Ang kislap ng watawag mo'y tagumpay na nagniningning. Ang bituin at araw niyang kailan pa may magdidinig. Lupa ng araw na luwalhati pagsinta, buhay langit sa ating mo. Ang ligaya na pag may mga api, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo. Is that which the breeze or the towering steep, as it fitfully blows, half conceals, half discloses?
Now it catches the gleam of the morning's first beam.
In full glory reflected, now shines on the screen. 'Tis the star-spangled banner, oh, long may it wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Oh, be it ever when freemen shall stand between their loved homes, and while war's desolation, blessed with victory and peace, may the hem-rescued land praise above that hath made and preserved us a nation. They love the rivers where our mountain is done, and this the unconquered King God is our trust, and the star-spangled banner in triumph shall wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Let your light shine on our path.
Okay, so actually, we asked for your pardon a while ago. What we've actually heard was the national anthem of the United States of America and that of Malaysia. Okay, so, but to officially welcome everyone to this momentous international convergence, let us hear from a respected academic leader and steward of institutional growth. Please welcome Dr. Florigold B. Saldaen, Vice President for Administration and Finance, Quirino State University. You may now have the virtual floor.
Thank you so much. I am extending my warmest greetings to the international community and to the organizers, lecturers, and participants on this endeavor. Mabuhay. Indeed, internationalization makes our world smaller in positive ways, inasmuch as it paves the way for productive connections by building a bond of integrative relationships in a global dimension. This International Spring Convergence is focused on food sustainability, hand in hand on gastronomic tourism. This is then an avenue to acquire knowledge and skills that are helpful and applicable in our prevailing situation and in the years to come. The intercultural exchanges of lectures regarding innovative techniques on food processing and preservation that are environmentally friendly may ascertain food security and sustainability. However, the challenge of today is the question on how far have we prepared ourselves to meet this basic need as an integral part of the tourism industry. It is indubitable that food is interconnected to tourism, where lots of opportunities along this field are yet to be discovered, developed, and ventured upon. Hence, this particular engagement is of great value and significance to the global community. With this, on behalf of Quirino State University International Relations Office, Quirino Province, Region 2, Philippines, I am now extending the most blessed and warmest welcome to everyone. Thank you very much and mabuhay. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Saldaen, for that heartfelt and inspiring message. Okay, so now we begin with our first plenary session, and it is my great pleasure to introduce our first speaker, and she is no other than our very own Dr. Arlene J. Ira. She is a dedicated public health nutritionist dietitian and an esteemed faculty member of Quirino State University, where she serves as the program chairperson of the Bachelor of Science in Nutrition and Dietetics. With years of academic and field experience, Dr. Ira has been at the forefront of nutrition education and rural development initiatives in Quirino Province. Her work is deeply rooted in community engagement, particularly in promoting sustainable nutrition practices and improving food and nutrition security in underserved rural areas. She has led and participated in numerous extension activities focused on health promotion, livelihood improvement, and culturally sensitive food system interventions. In this convergence, Dr. Ira will deliver a lecture titled Traditional and Modern Preservation Techniques, Balancing Food Security and Sustainability. Her presentation will explore the intersections of indigenous food preservation practices, and her insights aim to show how these practices can complement each other to support sustainable food systems, reduce post-harvest losses, and empower communities to become more food resilient. So let us give a warm and enthusiastic welcome to a passionate advocate for public health nutrition and rural empowerment whose work continues to bridge the gap between the classroom and the community, creating lasting impact where it matters most. Welcome, Dr. Arlene J. Ira.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you today. We are going to talk about something that connects us all, and that is food. But more importantly, how we can make sure food stays safe, lasts longer, and continues to nourish us in a way that's good for people and the planet. We'll take a look at both traditional and modern ways of preserving food, the methods passed down through generations, and the new technologies that help us today. We'll also see why food preservation is a key part of food security and sustainability, and how we at Quirino State University are doing our part through innovative projects. So let's dive in and see how preserving food is really about preserving life, culture, and our future. Let's start with a simple question. Why should we even care about preserving food? Every day, over 1 billion meals worth of edible food are wasted worldwide. On average, each person wastes about 79 kilograms of food yearly. This is equivalent to 1.3 meals per day for everyone experiencing hunger, or enough food for 2 billion people. Yet, millions of people around the world are still suffering from hunger and malnutrition. Here in the Philippines, food waste is a significant issue. According to the Philippine Institute for Development Studies, approximately 2,175 tons of food waste are produced daily in the country. A huge portion of this waste comes from household plate waste, and also the Department of Science and Technology highlights that rice of 58%, vegetables of about 18%, and meat of 9% are the top 3 most wasted foods in Filipino households. This issue isn't just about food being discarded. It also has a tremendous environmental impact. Food loss and waste contribute heavily to global warming and climate change, generating 8 to 10% of global greenhouse gas emissions, almost 5 times the total emissions from the aviation sector. The environmental toll of wasted food extends beyond emissions. Wasted food means wasted natural resources like energy, fuel, and water. In fact, the Natural Resources Defense Council found that food waste accounts for a quarter of our water supply. Transporting food globally requires large amounts of oil, diesel, and other fossil fuels, further contributing to environmental degradation. Meanwhile, the 2024 Global Hunger Index shows that the Philippines ranks 67th out of 127 countries with sufficient data with a GHI score of 14.4, indicating a moderate level of hunger. This is based on 4 key indicators. 5.9% of the population is undernourished, 26.7% of children under 5 are stunted, 5.4% of children under 5 are wasted, and 2.7% of children die before their 5th birthday. These figures underline the urgency of addressing both food waste and hunger. Preserving food is no longer just a tradition. It's a modern necessity, crucial for reducing hunger, conserving resources, and protecting the environment. Food preservation is critical across the entire food chain, ensuring that food we grow, process, store, distribute, and consume remains safe and of high quality. Let's explore how this applies at each stage. The first step in the food chain is production. This involves protecting crops right after harvest. Without proper preservation techniques, harvested crops can spoil quickly, leading to significant losses. For example, fruits like bananas are highly perishable and can easily overripen without being processed or stored in optimal conditions. Processing, on the other hand, is when once food is harvested, it must be processed into stable forms that can be stored and used for a longer period. This might involve methods like drying, freezing, or canning, which help prevent spoilage and retain nutritional value. Without processing, many raw foods would not last long to reach consumers or markets. Proper storage is key to preventing spoilage and infestation. Whether it's refrigerated storage for perishable items or dry storage for grains and legumes, without effective storage system, food would decay or be attacked by pests, leading to waste and economic loss. Once food reaches distribution channels and retail stores, maintaining quality becomes paramount. Without preservation during transportation and in retail spaces, food can degrade, affecting both its safety and marketability. For instance, fresh produce may lose its freshness if not kept in the right conditions, making it unsuitable for consumers. Lastly, food preservation extends to the consumption stage at the household level. Reducing waste is essential. This includes practices like proper refrigeration, meal planning, and managing leftovers, all of which help minimize food loss. At every stage of the food supply chain, without proper preservation techniques, we risk food loss. A local example would be the banana, which can quickly overripen and spoil without timely processing, such as turning it into dried banana chips or other preserved forms. The preservation of food isn't just about reducing waste. It is also has the environmental and economic implications. When food is lost, we waste not only the food itself, but the resources used to grow, process, and transport it. To understand preservation, we must understand what causes foods to spoil. There is a simple model, and we call it FATOM. FATOM represents 6 factors affecting food spoilage. F stands for food or the nutrient content. A stands for acidity. T stands for time. Another T stands for temperature. O for oxygen, and M for moisture. Let's look at each factor. For food or nutrients, microorganisms strive where nutrients are abundant. Food rich in protein, sugar, or water, like meat, milk, and fruits, are especially vulnerable. For A, acidity, the level of acidity affects microbial growth. Highly acidic foods like vinegar and pickles naturally inhibit spoilage. For time is critical. The longer food stays at unsafe condition, the more bacteria multiply. This is why we have best before dates and rapid processing. For temperature control is essential. Okay? Most harmful microbes grow between 5 degrees Celsius to 60 degrees Celsius, or this is what we call the temperature danger zone. Cold storage and proper cooking destroy or slow their growth. For oxygen, some bacteria need oxygen to survive, while others thrive without it. Packaging innovations like vacuum sealing limit oxygen and extend shelf life. For moisture, water activity drives spoilage. Drying foods or adding salt and sugar reduces moisture, making it harder for bacteria to grow. Now that we have discussed the fatum concept, the 6 factors that contribute to the growth of microorganisms in food, it's clear how important it is to manage these conditions effectively. This brings us to the next critical step of food safety. It's the preservation techniques. By applying the right preservation methods, we can control or eliminate the factors that allow microorganisms to thrive, ultimately extending the shelf life and safety of our food. Among these traditional preservation techniques include sun-drying, smoking, fermentation, salting, and pickling. The traditional methods of food preservation are the following: sun-drying, smoking, fermentation, salting, and pickling. These methods have been practiced for centuries, often developed out of necessity long before modern refrigeration or chemical preservatives were available. Each technique works by controlling one or more factors essential to microbial growth. For sun-drying, for foods like fish and fruits, sun-drying removes moisture. Microorganisms need water to thrive, so drying the product makes it less hospitable for spoilage and pathogenic organisms. Smoking foods like meats such as itag in cordillera or smoked ham undergo both exposure to smoke and drying. The smoke contains antimicrobial compounds like formaldehyde and phenols, and the drying effect reduces water content, preserving the meat. In fermentation, foods like kimchi, yogurt, and wines, fermentation encourages the growth of beneficial microbes that produce acids or alcohols, lowering the pH and creating an environment hostile to spoilage microorganisms. For salting, it is used for fish and meat. Salting draws water out through osmosis, making it difficult for bacteria to survive. The lower the water activity, the more effective for the prevention of microbial growth. For pickling, pickled vegetables are submerged in an acidic solution, typically vinegar, which drops the pH and combined with oxygen exclusion inhibits the growth of unwanted microbes. Thus, through these traditional techniques, people harness natural processes to create safe, long-lasting foods while enhancing flavors and cultural identity. As we continue our discussion on food preservation, it is important to recognize the value of traditional methods and also to understand their limitations. Traditional food preservation techniques such as sun-drying, fermentation, salting, and pickling are often low cost. They rely on materials readily available within communities like salt, sunlight, or natural fermentation agents, making them affordable and practical, especially in rural or low-income areas. These methods don't require expensive technology or specialized training, and they're passed down through generations, making them accessible to many. These practices also tend to be environmentally sustainable. They often use organic ingredients and natural processes, minimizing the use of synthetic chemicals or energy-intensive machinery. This reduces pollution, promotes biodiversity, and helps preserve the balance of local ecosystems. Traditional yogurt, and wines, fermentation encourages the growth of beneficial microbes that produce acids or alcohols, lowering the pH and creating an environment hostile to spoilage microorganisms. For salting, it is used for fish and meat. Salting draws water out through osmosis, making it difficult for bacteria to survive. The lower the water activity, the more effective for the prevention of microbial growth. For pickling, pickled vegetables are submerged in an acidic solution, typically vinegar, which drops the pH and combined with oxygen exclusion inhibits the growth of unwanted microbes. Thus, through these traditional techniques, people harness natural processes to create safe, long-lasting foods while enhancing flavors and cultural identity. As we continue our discussion on food preservation, it is important to recognize the value of traditional methods and also to understand their limitations. Traditional food preservation techniques such as sun-drying, fermentation, salting, and pickling are often low cost. They rely on materials readily available within communities like salt, sunlight, or natural fermentation agents, making them affordable and practical, especially in rural or low-income areas. These methods don't require expensive technology or specialized training, and they're passed down through generations, making them accessible to many. These practices also tend to be environmentally sustainable. They often use organic ingredients and natural processes, minimizing the use of synthetic chemicals or energy-intensive machinery. This reduces pollution, promotes biodiversity, and helps preserve the balance of local ecosystems. Traditional methods don't just extend shelf life. They enrich sensory and cultural value of food. Fermentation, smoking, and sun-drying, for example, develop deep, complex flavors unique to different regions. These methods are also serve as a living heritage, preserving recipes, techniques, and stories that form part of a community's identity. By using local resources and labor, traditional preservation methods support local economies. They can empower small-scale producers, create livelihood opportunities, and reduce dependency on imported goods or centralized food systems. However, traditional methods are often vulnerable to climate variability. For instance, sun-drying requires consistent weather. Too much rain or humidity can spoil the process. As climate change intensifies, these techniques may face greater challenges in reliability and effectiveness. While effective on a household or community level, traditional preservation methods can struggle to meet the demands of growing urban populations. They may not scale well for industrial or commercial production, making them less feasible for large-scale distribution or export. Another concern is food safety. Traditional practices, while rooted in experience, may not follow standardized protocols for hygiene, storage, or contamination control. Without regulation, this can lead to inconsistencies in quality and even foodborne illness. To ensure safety, these methods often need to be combined with modern monitoring and training. Now, let's talk about the modern food preservation techniques shown in the table. Unlike traditional methods, modern preservation technologies rely on advanced science and innovation. Their goal? To make food safer, last longer, and retain more of its nutritional value, all while responding to today's key challenges like sustainability, efficiency, and growing consumer demand for minimally processed food. First, we have nanotechnology. Nanotechnology uses incredibly small, nanosized particles to either enhance food packaging or improve the food itself. These particles can act as antimicrobial barriers, slowing down spoilage and extending shelf life. However, while this method holds incredible promise for sustainability and shelf life extension, it also raises important health and environmental questions. Why? Because these nanoparticles may accumulate in the body over time. That's why strict control of particle size, dosage, and thorough safety evaluations are absolutely essential when using nanotech in food preservation. Next, pulsed electric field or PEF. PEF uses short bursts of high voltage electricity to preserve food. This electric pulse disrupts the cell membranes of bacteria, effectively killing them, and it's especially effective for liquid products like fruit juices. But take note, it works best on vegetative cells, not bacterial spores. For PEF to be effective, parameters like voltage strength, pulse duration, and treatment time must be precisely managed. Now, let's move to high pressure processing or HPP. This technique uses extremely high pressure without heat to kill harmful microbes. Because there's no cooking involved, nutrients, texture, and flavor are preserved better than with thermal methods. You'll often find HPP used in ready-to-eat meals, juices, and seafood. Again, the key to success is carefully controlling pressure, intensity, and how long the food is exposed to it. Antimicrobial agents come next. These are natural compounds like bacteriocins from plants or lysozymes found in eggs that inhibit or kill bacteria. They are especially common in foods like cheese, meats, and dairy, acting as natural preservatives. To be effective, the right type and concentration of antimicrobial agent must be selected. It's all about balance. Too little won't work, and too much can affect flavor or safety. Finally, we have microwave heating technology. Microwaves heat food quickly and evenly, preserving important nutrients like colors and antioxidants better than conventional heating. This makes it great for preserving fruit purees and vegetables. However, just like the other methods, precision is key. Time and temperature must be carefully controlled to ensure both safety and quality. So to summarize, modern food preservation techniques are faster, more precise, and often better at maintaining food quality than traditional methods. But with this advancement comes responsibility. Each method requires careful control, rigorous regulation, and ongoing research to ensure safety, effectiveness, and consumer trust. By blending science with purpose, we can meet today's food preservation challenges and prepare for the demands for tomorrow. How about the advantages and limitations of modern food preservation techniques? Modern methods like high-pressure processing and pulse electric field treatment are incredibly effective at eliminating harmful microorganisms. These innovations significantly reduce the risk of foodborne illness, ensuring the food we consume is safer and more reliable. Techniques such as high-pressure processing and nanotechnology work to delay spoilage, keeping the food fresher for longer. This not only benefits consumers, but also reduces the need for excessive chemical preservatives. Unlike traditional heat-based preservation, modern methods like pulsed electric fields and microwave heating preserve sensitive nutrients and flavors. This helps maintain both quality and nutritional value of food products. Modern innovations support sustainable food systems. For example, Nanotechnology and the use of natural antimicrobials reduce dependency on synthetic chemicals and help lower food waste, contributing to a more eco-friendly future. Today's consumers want clean label, fresh tasting, and minimally processed foods. Modern preservation techniques align this trend, making them highly marketable and more likely to be embraced by health-conscious buyers. However, despite these benefits, there are important limitations to consider. Advanced technologies like high-pressure processing and pulse electric field system require expensive equipment and ongoing maintenance. These costs can be barrier for small or medium-sized producers. Some modern methods are effective only against vegetative bacteria, not spores. This means they may need to be combined with other treatments to ensure complete food safety. Take nanotechnology for instance. While it's promising, there are concerns about the long-term health and environmental effects of nanoparticles. Without robust regulation and testing, these risks remain uncertain. Certain technologies like microwave heating can result in uneven processing. This creates cold spots where bacteria might survive, posing safety risks if not properly controlled. Finally, new technologies are often faced with slow regulatory approval processes, and even when they're cleared, gaining consumer trust can be difficult, especially if the technology isn't well understood by the public. Let's explore how food preservation serves as a vital bridge between two global goals, and that is food security and sustainability. First, what is food security? Food security is having reliable access to enough safe and nutritious food to live a healthy life. But achieving this is a challenge, especially in areas facing poverty, conflict, or climate disruptions. Food preservation plays a key role here. It extends the shelf life of food, prevents spoilage, and reduces post-harvest losses, making food available when and where it's needed the most. Let's look at sustainability. This means meeting our food needs today without compromising future generations' ability to meet theirs. Preserving food helps reduce waste, conserves natural resources, and lowers the environmental footprint of food production and distribution. So how do we connect the two? Through food preservation techniques like drying, salting, fermenting, and pickling. These methods act as a bridge. They not only protect food from spoilage, but also stabilize food supply chains while supporting environmentally responsible practices. In essence, preserved food is more than just stored food. It's a strategic tool that ensures we can feed people today and still protect our planet for tomorrow. Through smart food preservation, we move closer to a future where no one goes hungry and nothing goes to waste. At Quirino State University, we have embraced a holistic approach through food preservation, blending traditional knowledge with modern scientific innovations to enhance food security and promote sustainability. One notable project involves the production of flours made from soya, ube, and bananas. These crops, often highly perishable, are transformed into stable, marketable flours. Ube flour and powder production has reached international markets, with QSU's ube powder now being exported to Japan. This highlights its global market potential and contributes to both local economic empowerment and international food trade. The success of ube flour processing not only extends the shelf life of this valuable crop, but also elevates the agricultural profile of the region. Meanwhile, soya-based products developed at QSU have found important uses in local community nutrition programs. Soya flours and soya-based foods such as butterscotch, cookies, composite breads are being used to help feed undernourished children, providing an affordable, nutrient-dense solution to combat malnutrition in vulnerable populations. In addition, QSU, through the Quirino Young Entrepreneurs Association, engages in peanut butter, wine, and juice production using locally sourced fruits. Through fermentation and juice extraction technologies, fruits that would otherwise spoil are turned into preserved high-value beverages. This reduces waste, adds income opportunities, and provides marketable goods that can support small-scale agribusiness in the region. These food preservation initiatives are closely tied to the core principles of food security and sustainability. By turning perishable crops into long-lasting products, QSU and Quirino Young Entrepreneurs Association help ensure that food remains available for longer periods, reducing reliance on seasonal availability. Furthermore, these initiatives contribute to the economic empowerment of local communities, fostering sustainable livelihoods and promoting the responsible use of local agricultural resources. In this way, QSU's projects serve as a model for balancing the urgent need for food security with the goal of achieving sustainability. By combining traditional food preservation techniques with modern innovations, QSU not only preserves food, but also helps secure a more sustainable and equitable future for its community. In closing, we must remember that preserving food is not just about extending shelf life. It's about preserving life itself, our precious resources, and the many opportunities they hold for the future. Let us move forward with a commitment to innovate, embracing new technologies and strategies, while also honoring the wisdom of traditional preservation methods that have sustained communities for generations. Let's make every harvest, every crop, every effort last longer and go further, not just for today, but for the generations that follow. Together, let's turn every crop into a lasting opportunity, one that blends tradition with innovation, for a future that is both food secure and sustainable. Because every harvest counts, let's make each one thrive. And the time to act is now. Thank you very much at magandang hapon po sa ating lahat.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ira, for that insightful discussion, reminding us how age-old preservation wisdom can work hand in hand with innovation to ensure a sustainable food future. So as a sign, should we award the certificate of recognition to Dr. Ira? Can I ask the ITO office to kindly flash the certificate of recognition for Dr. Ira? And by the way, for all our attendees who have some questions ready, let it be ready. Soon we'll have our question and answer portion. I'll be the one to share pala. Okay, so let me read the content of the Certificate of Recognition to Dr. Arlene J. Ira, RND, Chairperson, BSND Program, Quirino State University, in grateful recognition for her invaluable services as lecturer during the 2025 International Spring Convergence on Gastronomic Tourism and Food Diplomacy and Sustainability held on April 11, 25 and May 2, 2025 via Zoom teleconferencing with the theme Culinary Heritage as a tool for sustainable development. Given the second day of May 2025 at Quirino State University, Difun Quirino, Philippines. Signed by Dr. Ramiro J. Bautista, International Relations Officer, and Dr. Hermenegildo F. Samoy Jr., University President. So thank you once again to Dr. Ira. So moving on to our next session on topic 2, which is innovations in sustainable enhancing efficiency and reducing environmental impact. To introduce our next speaker, may I call on Dr. Jonathan N. Tariga, Program Chair of the BSHM Program, QSU Difun. Is Dr. Tariga around?
Okay, Ma'am Novi, I will do the honors of
Yes.
introducing our
Okay, sir.
second lecture. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my profound gratitude and, of course, my honor to present to you the second lecturer for today's Convergence. Our speaker is a professor at the Faculty of Science and Marine Environment, University Malaysia Terengganu. She holds a PhD in chemical pathology, pharmaceutical biotechnology from the University of Cape Town, South Africa. Her research focuses on assessing the quality and authenticity of honey and various herbs using physicochemical and phytochemical analysis, followed by investigations into their effects on insulin resistance related disease models. Her team addresses major diseases such as obesity, diabetes, cancer, wounds, and neurodegenerative disorders. Professor Ismail has been appointed by the Department of Standards Malaysia as chairperson for 2 working groups tasked with developing the Malaysian standards for honey harvested from honeybees and stingless bees respectively. These initiatives aim to help consumers access pure honey and reduce the prevalence of counterfeit honey in the market. They also support honey producers and beekeepers in producing pure, high quality honey. Additionally, she was appointed by the Ministry of Agriculture to lead the committee for a 10-year strategic plan for modernizing beekeeping practices, shifting from traditional methods to more sustainable, modern approaches while enhancing the socioeconomic impact for beekeepers. At the international level, Professor Ismail serves as the Malaysian representatives for ISO Global, which develops various standards related to honey, other bee products, and beekeeping. She has secured numerous national, international industrial research grants, totaling approximately at least 10 million rupees. Through collaboration with various agencies, Professor Dr. Ismail has developed numerous innovative products, including edible honey, packaging for travel, be-ready energy bars made from discarded bee bread to increase its commercial value. Slevix honey aromatherapy for sleep disorders and Lucafix wound and skincare products. She also contributed to the development of the KIIS IoT application by Searing, which enhances the effectiveness of monitoring beekeeping practices. These products have received multiple local and international awards. Furthermore, she works with industry partners to commercialize honey-based research products. Currently, she serves as an advisor and consultant to several agencies and companies, including Felda, Kooperasi Usaha Anak Felda, Mimos, Dr. Reed's Marketing SDN PhD, Inosphere Labs Enterprises, and among others. In terms of publication, our speaker has authored nearly 250 works, including high-impact journal articles, which includes the Web of Science Clarivate Analytics and Scopus, academic books, book chapters, popular science books, policy papers, technical reports, abstracts, and articles in newspapers and magazines. In recognition of her significant contribution to research and innovation, benefiting both the community and the nation, she was listed among the top 2% of scientists in the world by the Stanford University in 2022 and 2023, named Asia's Rising Scientist, and featured in the top 100 Asian Scientists by Asian Scientist magazine in 2020 and 2022. She was also awarded as the L'Oreal UNESCO Fellowship for Women in Science in 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, our most esteemed second lecturer for today's event, my co-alumni in the Science Young Scientist, Asian Young Scientist Networks, the Science Leadership Program Fellow of 2019, Professor Dr. Juan Iriani Juan Ismail.
Thank you so much for the nice introduction to Professor Ramiro Bautista. We call Prof. Amir. It is a great honor for me actually to be a part of this wonderful event. So today, I would like to share such kind of my experience and also a part of our research findings and also innovations related to beekeeping and bee products and also marine organism, specifically in polychaetes organism. So hopefully we can learn from each other from this event. All right. Okay, I go straight to the point because we have only 30 minutes for the presentation. So once we talk about food processing, so I believe most of us here are quite aware that this stage involved between farming and also retail, wholesale retail. If we talk about the big food industry, okay? And this food processing also involves so many types of techniques, operations that you can see from the figures that's involved with called chemical preservation with our last speaker just mentioned about that. And also with this food processing also involved with many other processes, for example, washing, cutting, and so on. So definitely this process will involve in producing raw material, basically raw material. Then we can modify the raw material to become other food products that have a specific demand from the customers. Okay, so why we concerned about the food processing here? that's based on many report and data that we can see the tremendous increment in terms of food processing. For example, this data, they show that about 47%, almost 50%, the growth we can see demand from the food processing by 2027. Beside the high demands and the importance of the food processing, we actually we having a lot of problems in terms of starvation. Okay, you can see here from the slide that's reported by the World Food Program, about 44.4 million people throughout the world they are facing hunger. Okay, and this involve almost 50 countries throughout the world. Okay, so hopefully this initiative will provide healthy foods more than 100 million people by this year. Okay. And we can see, for example, here, once we talk about starvation, a lot of things, and we can learn from Africa, and we can see from the photo how this small baby, and they are facing this kind of very severe starvation. So hopefully we can do something, at least from the food processing. Okay. Again, once we talk about starvation, there's a lot of challenges actually we need to overcome. For example, there's a lot of scandals, and we have to say there's a lot of scandals because how come we have a lot of food supply, but still we cannot distribute the food equally? Okay, so we believe there are a lot of scandals out there that's prevent from the food distribution equally throughout the world. So of course we cannot overcome this kind of big problem. So at least we should aware what's going on outside there. For example, like this late Pope Francis mentioned, and it is a cruel, unjust, and political reality that many food waste throughout the world, and still not many people can got access to the food. I have to share here what's happened outside. For example, they have a lot of tomato supplies. But what happened? Some of the country, they only they just throw away the food. Some of them just play with the food without proper management. So if we can distribute this food properly, I believe, and we can overcome the starvation issue. And once we talk about food waste as well, okay. So actually, as I mentioned earlier, that if our food supply actually is good enough, to be shared to everybody. For example, we can grow enough food to feed everyone even twice, not only once, but also twice, based on our current data. That means we have more than enough our food to share with each other. And here to show about the data about the food waste as well. It's about $1 trillion US. That's called the amount of the food waste, which equal to 1.3 billion tons of food are wasted every year. And this food actually can be used, can be distributed to about 870 million people throughout the world. And you can see more data from this photo. But what I'm trying to highlight here is the reality out there. We have a lot of issue in terms of food waste. And here similar things happen, that actually food waste can cause between 8 to 10% of greenhouse gases. That's another issue we have quite concerned here is about the environmental impact. And we know we're having the severe climate change, and from there we know that one of the factor to contribute to the climate change to cause the pollution and so on is mainly come from the food waste as well. And from the food waste, we know that food waste mostly come from organic waste, and from food waste, they will cause a lot of pollution, will cause production of methane and carbon dioxide gas, and of course, they will increase temperature and so on. So, what we can do from the problems out there, ranging from the starvation, from the pollution, and so on. And definitely we need to apply the sustainable food supply chains, starting from the production, distribution, consumption, reuse, repair, recycle, and also recycling sector. Okay, but for today, for at least we could we'll try to focus more in terms of production and be specific in terms of food processing. Okay, so I only share from our experience and also our practice in Malaysia, how we apply the beekeeping and bee products in terms of food processing, how we can apply the marine organism spending area there. Okay, for example, polychaetes, how to apply sustainable approach in these two big sectors in Malaysia. Okay, we start with beekeeping and bee products. In Malaysia, we are lucky. We have so many types of bees in Malaysia. I'm also involved in this beekeeping since 2010. And we have two types of bee. For example, we have honey bee, mainly come from apis species that bees can sting. And we also have another bee species known as stingless bee. Okay, between these two types of bees, we prefer to choose more stingless bee instead of honey bee, mainly because of some people they are not really keen to be stung by the bees, and of course stingless bee they don't have sting, so there's a safer and more reliable and more safe, can handle the bees properly. Even we also involve with a woman, single mother, children also can involve in this being in here, because we have our economy team that they managed to do such kind of calculation to see what the commercial value, what the economic impact from the beekeeping. And from the report, we found that beekeeping and also bee products can give a lot of benefits to the beekeepers and also to our society. For example, this beekeeping and bee products can provide about 15.5 billion, approximately 3.8 billion US dollar in terms of health and pharmaceutical sector. We can sell honey in the high price, about RM 250, and other bee product, for example, propolis, bee bread. And also we can use bee as a pollinator agent. So we can generate a lot of incomes from the beekeeping and also bee products. So we go to how we can relate our topic today about the food processing and beekeeping. Okay. Even we if we can relate with our first slide that processing is come after the production, but I believe we need to apply good practice since the farming or beekeeping before we can get the most effective technique or practice in the food processing. So here we focus in terms of beekeeping practice, okay, because we know out there, including in Malaysia, we are having some issue related to colony loss issue or colony collapse disorder. There's a lot of factors involved here, but we believe we need to have a proper called equipment or tools to help our beekeepers in the beekeeping practice. So, for example, we can see from the photo here, our group involved with many agencies to produce or to innovate tools to help our beekeepers to make sure they can do the beekeeping practice in sustainable manner. For example, here we have IoT tools that we can detect the temperature, humidity, and what's going on in the beehive. And we also innovate a lot of other tools to harvest the honey effectively and efficiently. And we know that one single drop of honey is very crucial. So we also involve in the production or innovation of the this kind of tools to make sure the beekeeping practice can be done in the best manner. Okay, we also involve with other innovation. For example, actually we are lucky to have very supportive beekeepers because beekeepers themselves, they also love the innovation approach to make sure they can have the good approach, the good practice of beekeeping in their farm. For example, we managed to have so many beehive here. For example, we call them as modular stainless beehive, hive tracking system, and also Mustafa hive. So this kind of hive can help our beekeepers to have a beehive to call we don't rely 100% to get new beehive from the forest, okay? Because we want to make sure the beekeeping practice in a sustainable manner, so we cannot go to the jungle and cut down the tree for the sake to have the beehive. So we need to think how to save the forest, and at the same time we can also do the beekeeping practice. So in this case, we produce so many types of beehive that we can reproduce the bees in the bigger scale. Okay, so this type of hive, we are very proud to have this type of hive because until today we managed to double the bee colony in sustainable manner. Besides this beehive, we also have other apps and to help our beekeepers to monitor their bee colony or beehive. We have here, instead of the we also have a software or special website that we can put data login every day to monitor the bee health, to monitor the bee movement, and so on. Okay. That's some example of innovation that involve in the beekeeping practice in Malaysia. But today I would like to highlight more in terms of bee products that we involve in terms of innovation practice. Okay. I would like to share here that one single beehive or single bee colony, they have three major products here. Okay, I believe everybody here, we are quite familiar with honey. Okay, actually we have another two products from the beehive known as bee bread and also propolis. Okay, but most people just focus on the honey, but it's okay. I will show to you how we can actually innovate this product to give more impact to the beekeeping and also to the customer. Okay, we go to the honey first. Okay, all right, here. Maybe I believe most of us here consume honey even at least once in your lifetime. But do you aware? And sometimes we waste the honey. Okay, we pour honey from the bottle, put on a spoon, and then sometimes we you can see here from the photo, and one single drop of honey drop from the spoon. Maybe we not really appreciate the honey until today. What I'm trying to share with you today is one drop of honey only can be produced by a honeybee after they visited 200 flowers. Okay, you can imagine the bee need to visit 200 flowers just to produce one single drop of honey. So never ever waste the honey, even one drop of honey. And can you imagine that honeybee makes only 1/12 of teaspoon of honey in their lifetime? So yeah, we want to maintain our well-being, but at the same time, we need to appreciate, need to look after the bees properly. So never ever waste the honey. So that's how I overcome this very simple problem in terms of food processing. You can imagine you just put honey in the bottle and distribute to the market and so on. We never thought this small thing here. But me as a researcher, I do aware how difficult a bee to produce the honey. So what happened? We innovate a special edible honey packaging. Okay, we innovate we call honeybee, which we don't rely on bottle. We just produce honey in the honey bits like this. Then you can consume honey without using a spoon. Okay, so you can save the honey, even one single drop of honey you can save by using this innovation. And this, of course, the honey bits is very easy to. It's very convenient. It's very travel friendly. And then, of course, I can preserve the quality of honey in this special packaging from our research and our innovation. Okay, there's one single problem, but we managed to innovate a special edible honey packaging known as honey beads. And then we go to the second product that can produce from the stingless bee in their colony known as bee bread. Okay, bee bread. Okay, in Malaysia, most of the beekeepers thought the bee breads are nothing, and they just throw away the bee breads. But from our research, we found that this bee bread actually have a lot of health benefits. So what's happened? We managed to transform and innovate the bee bread to become energy bar, and like this in the photo. Because I'm trying to appreciate what bees have done. They need to visit many flowers to collect the pollen and to produce the bee bread in their hive. So no need to throw away this bee bread. Actually, you can use this bread, but you need to process the bee bread in a proper manner. For example, in our case, we innovate bee bread become as energy bar. Okay, here this energy bar, even if we try to compare this energy bar with the commercial energy bar out there, our products can provide 2 times higher in terms of energy, and also we provide antioxidant, high antioxidant level from the products. All right, so the next product known as propolis. There's another product that most of the beekeeper just throw away. Okay, so that's why I'm trying to save as much as possible bee products from one single colony. So what happened here? I use the propolis here. For example, you can see from the photo. Sometimes they throw away the propolis because they thought the bee overproduce the propolis, but we just collect the waste and innovate this propolis to become sunscreen and natural sunscreen known as bee shield. And we can see photo down there. That's our product known as bee shield. So we recycle the propolis that become as a natural sunscreen, and hopefully one day we can commercialize this product, because this product just completed. Actually, I have one PhD student who just completed his study and he managed to produce and innovate this product as a prototype. Okay, so that's all about the beekeeping and bee products. I will go to the marine organism, polychaetes, and there's another my side study. I also study about the polychaete. Polychaete is one example of marine organism, and we do aware that a lot of food waste come from the food processing in the aquaculture sector. For example, in the salmon farm, there's 100 tons we produce waste from the farm, and sometimes the waste also come from the food and so on. Okay, so in this case, I just focus one example of a marine organism in the aquaculture sector known as polychaete, but also known as marine worms. Not many people aware about this industry. They thought the marine worm just fish bait and just a food for the prawn and crab, and that's all. But we managed to innovate this polychaete to become many types of products. Because from our experience, we noticed that fishermen, sometimes they produce a lot of waste from the polychaetes. So what's happened? We use the waste, we use waste from the polychaetes to study brain disorder, for example, like Alzheimer and so on. From our study, we found that polychaete has a special ability to reproduce their body, and some of the species they manage to reproduce their brain, and so in this case, we believe that the brain part of the polychaete can be used as a treatment for Alzheimer or brain disorder diseases. Okay, so from our study here, this is also from my PhD student. We found that to show that from the video down there, you can see how the brain the polychaete can reproduce their new brain here. Okay, so how to show how the polychaete brain can function as normal. So hopefully in the future we can complete the study, and then we can produce new drugs for the at least for the Alzheimer. And from the polychaete waste as well, we managed to transform the waste to become as a wound healing cream. You can see the photo from up there. So we compare the cream with the commercial wound healing cream. We found that our product showed up to 3 times better from the commercial wound healing cream. And the last one, we also managed to transform the polychaete waste to become as a gold and silver nanoparticles. what is gold, what are gold and silver nanoparticles. Okay. Silver and nanoparticle actually is another big industry outside, because it can generate last time they projected about 3 billion, but the actual one is more than that. Can produce from the nanoparticles industry. And what the best part from our study, we managed to produce silver and gold nanoparticles from natural product, which can it is safe from the environment. We managed to prevent from the toxic waste from the nanoparticle production by using the polycate. And you can see from the figure as well, this polycate or marine worm also can be used for many other purposes as well. Here, for example, we can also use for the broodstock, for fish bait, and so on. But mostly we can produce a lot of waste. So we managed to transform the waste to be used in the brain study, for the wound healing cream, and also for the nanoparticle study. And I think that's all. I've passed call. My time is already passed for 2:54 p.m. At this moment. So what for this last slide, I believe we can do better. We can do better than this one. But here only some examples. Okay, some example which show to you that if we manage to apply the good practice in the food processing, okay, we also can transform the waste to become as more valuable products, not only to us, but only to our community and our country. So hopefully by implementation by this good practice, we implement the good practice, we can live our world to make sure our next generation can get the best place for them for their future and so on. Okay, I think that's all from me. I'm happy to take any question, and hopefully you can get something from this sharing session. Thank you.
Thank you as well. Maraming salamat, Dr. Juan Iriani, Juan Ismail. That's our way of saying thank you po for that inspiring sharing on sustainable solutions that bridge science, policy, and passion. Doctor, especially on your expertise on honeybee and honey keeping and your sharing po of the product innovation. And also good luck on your endeavor related to the polykit and the polykit aquaculture. And with that, let me just share, Doctor, there you go, our certificate of recognition to Professor Dr. Juan Iriani, Juan Ismail of the University Malaysia Terengganu, Malaysia, in grateful recognition for her invaluable services as keynote speaker during the 2025 International Spring Convergence on Gastronomic Tourism and Food Diplomacy and Sustainability, held on April 11, 25 and May 2, 2025 via Zoom teleconferencing with the theme Culinary Heritage as a tool for sustainable development, given this second day of May 2025 at Quirino State University, Difun, Quirino, Philippines. Signed, Ramiro G. Bautista, our International Relations Officer, and Dr. Herman Ihildo F. Samoy Jr., our University President. Dr. Juan Iriani, once again, thank you po.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so I'm hoping that our dear participants are learning a lot insofar from the sharing of expertise and experiences of our speakers, even as we are down to our last international speaker, who will all again be introduced to us by Dr. Romero G. Bautista, our International Relations Officer. Dr.
Thank you.
Amir?
Thank you, Ma'am Nobi. Our keynote speaker for today is a distinguished academic leader and public health nutrition expert whose multifaceted career spans over 25 years in higher education, international faculty development, and community-based health initiatives. She holds dual doctorates, a PhD in nutritional science from Howard University, USA, and Doctor of Education in Health Education and Behavior Studies from Columbia University, USA, complemented by master's degree in both health education and nutritional sciences. Currently, she is serving as the Director of Graduate Studies and Associate Professor in the Department of Nutritional Sciences at Howard University, USA. Dr. Castor has made significant strides in advancing research, teaching excellence, and community engagement within and beyond the academy. Her leadership has had a global impact with strategic program development and faculty training initiatives successfully implemented in Benin, Senegal, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. A prolific scholar, she has authored more than 20 peer-reviewed publications and secured 10 research grants demonstrating her commitment to evidence-based practice and policy-informed scholarship. As a credentialed registered dietitian nutritionist or RDN in USA, certified health education specialist, and fellow of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, our speaker bridges academic theory with applied public health, especially in underserved population. Our speaker, our speaker's interdisciplinary approach integrates curriculum innovation, international collaboration, and faculty mentorship. She has designed global health and nutrition curricula, led health disparities conferences, and advised both undergraduate and doctoral students. Her research interests span cardiovascular health, obesity, food insecurity, dietary behavior in African American families, and nutrition interventions for chronic disease prevention. As a Fulbright specialist, she continues to champion institutional capacity building efforts that align with global health and education priorities, fostering sustainable development through research, pedagogy, and service. Ladies and gentlemen, our speaker will soon to be in our own Quirino State University sometime in July, joining us as a Fulbright specialist who will be assigned in the College of Health Sciences, College of Hospitality Management, and of course, the College of Agriculture. Ladies and gentlemen, my immense pride and honor to introduce to you Dr. Shimen Castor of Howard University. Hello, Shim.
Good
Nice to see
morning.
you
Good morning.
again.
Nice seeing you. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for the introduction. Thank you from the previous speaker. I am so excited to be here. I am delighted to be part of this wonderful conference. Thank you again. I'm humbled. Thank you. Do I have the opportunity to share?
Yes, please, Doctor.
Okay, fantastic. Good morning again. I'm delighted to be here. So I could get straight to our point. Just briefly going over some of the comments, some of the previous discussion that was mentioned earlier, and then looking at some of the definitions and why we need to be involved in this wonderful work and how we could just do it in concert with the dietetic program, agriculture, tourism, why we could actually do it in collaboration so that way we could really make an impact. So when I look at the definition of gastronomic tourism and look at how food plays a significant role, the only title I could come up with is how to integrate food as medicine and how to connect dietitians as well as farmers in a way to really enhance the health of the community. And when I look at food diplomacy and we look at how we need to foster culture, we need to create a position to incorporate not just our department. So guys, so that you know, I have a love for dietitian. I have a love for farming because as a farmer myself, I see the benefit of both collaboration. But when we look at sustainability, what does that mean? What does that mean when we look at how we are seeing the fact that our ecological system, our environment is so unstable, and because it's so unstable, how do we really connect them? How do we do it in a way that's going to benefit the entire community? How do we do it in a way that's going to be, that makes significant impact? And because the thing is, you don't have to do some major um, uh, we don't have to do some major funding. Well, funding is important, but we could do it in a collaboration and make significant impact. I'm all about coming together and collaboratively to make impact. So when I look at it, my objective for this talk today, I'm thinking about examine how nutrition and food as medicine and farmers can impact gastroeconomy and sustainability. And what does that look like, right? In order for you to do it in a way that's going to really maximize, improve the health of the community. We always have to go back to the community. Community always have to be the forefront in how when we make decisions. And the reason the community has to be the forefront of how to make the decision and they have to major stakeholder, it take us out of the equation where we're not feeling that we are the most important aspect of it. Our entire goal, at least for me, our entire mission is how to impact the community and how to make sure the community is eating, but at the same time healthy. So I'm currently working on a paper where my first sentence in that paper, it says that my first question is, does the stomach discriminate? Right? Because we come with solution and said, okay, you know what, let's create this product. And in creating this product, we could actually improve the health of the community by making sure we give them food that enhance the health. But what happened when we are enhancing eating a product that's just take care of hunger, but we're not consider the impact, the health. We're not consider the fact that if that food is ultra processed in such a way, while I'm not saying anything process is bad altogether, but what I'm saying, if we do it in a way where we then is so processed that it impacts the health, but it solves hunger, we need to be mindful of that. So in my presentation, in my talk today, I'm going to look at, we're going to have to look at the impact of culture preservation, local cuisine, and reflect, make sure that this culture is part of the culture, that we're not stepping outside the culture, because when we step outside the culture, we enhance the food. We're now putting ourselves in a position where we are actually causing harm, right? And we want to make sure we're not doing that. We have to look at the economic aspect of it and how, when we look at the aspect of it, how do we come up with a way to improve health, not just in the city, right? Because when we have to think about from a socio-ecological model, we have to think about the individual to the community, the enhanced beyond the community, and looking at policy. So when you look at agriculture and dietetic, you got to look at that from a broad spectrum. But at the same time, as a clinical dietitian, I also look at it from an individual perspective, right? Because my thing is, I could solve hunger. And for us to solve hunger, we have to be really mindful, and we have to do it in collaboration with everybody. Have to be at the table, understanding the reason we're trying to solve hunger is because we need to make sure that we take care of a community. And when we look at this, so for example, in 2019, food tourism generally billion global support, right? From, if you look at it from a small scale all the way to a larger scale, from a restaurant, it's $1 billion industry. But are we really, when we when we come to the position of having $1 billion industry, how to do it in a way that we also taking care of the community. Again, remember, I'm always going to go back to the community because the community is what I was made to help take care of. The community is the whole reason why I'm into nutrition. How to improve? Because if you guys know my story, my whole story is that I wanted to eradicate hunger. From the time I was a child, I said, I'm going to be into something. I'm going to do something. Actually, I said I was going to be president. And in my presidency, I'm going to eradicate hunger. I'm no longer interested in presidency, but I'm interested in eradicating hunger. So when you think about sustainability, you have to do it from an individual, you have to do it from a community, local, and then you have to get grand with it at a national level. This is why this conference is critical because we're looking at it from a holistic perspective. So we have to also look at it from a health opportunity because we never want to miss opportunity to come up with a way to improve the health, to promote health, but do it in a way that's traditional. Do it in a way where we're improving a traditional diet, right? We don't want to do it outside of not considering traditional diet. And this is why the Department of Dietetic and Agriculture is so important because we could do it in a way that's most effective. We're thinking about how do I cut down the fat, but still make it and cut down the salt and still make it healthy and tasty from the culture. So I'm constantly looking at ways to improve recipes. I recently published a book looking at how we take different recipes and enhance it to improve health. So when you're looking at food as medicine, if you look at food from that perspective, that I have access to it, right? I have access to food, then we could look and see how it's beneficial. Historically, when we look at the aspect of Chinese medicine, right? When we look at the aspect of modern medicine, how to integrate nutrition, nutritional health, comprehensive nutrition, agriculture, having access to healthy food, how could that help to prevent a development of chronic health condition? When you look at it from a global perspective, we could look at to see how we could use not just traditional food, but look at using a plant-based approach, right? Doing a plant-based approach so that way the people will have access to healthy food and at the same time making it traditional. So when I'm talking about food as medicine, I'm talking about creating access. So when you have access to it, and you could definitely participate and have access to the food. So I'm looking at from a nutritional in the 20th century, what have we seen? We have seen 70% of death are from non-communicable diseases, cardiovascular diseases, cancer, lung cancer. We've seen that 9.2 million people per death. And we're looking at the fact that in various countries that, such as the Philippines, we're seeing an increase of non-communicable diseases. That means to me that I have an opportunity to reduce these numbers, change these numbers, because we could look at it, what is it that's impacting cardiovascular disease? We know to really improve their cardiovascular disease, we know we have to look at what are they eating, the saturated fat, the high consumption of sodium. We know that lifestyle behavior, lack of sleep, lack of exercise, we know these factors contribute to what we are seeing in cardiovascular conditions. We're seeing the high processing food could actually impact. How do we get back to the traditional food that we used to eat and still make it healthier so that would prevent these deaths and these health death conditions? Because we could reverse some of these health conditions. We could minimize the risk. We could actually improve. And the best way for me that I'm finding to do it is not only looking at plant-based as well, but we start with the young ones. We start from the time from the stomach, all the way from there, when conception, all the way to now. One of the things that I say to my students is what you eat now as a child have very big adult consequences to geriatric consequences. From pediatric behavior have geriatric consequences, meaning that we have to look at what from the time they are babies. Right? So I'll give you an example. My son went to school and asked for a snack. And they said, what would you like for a snack? He said, can I have an apple and an orange? And he was asking for strawberries. He was asking for kiwi. They're looking at him like, but he's 2.5. Why is he asking for these things? Or how come he's not asking for crackers and chips because I'm raising him to make sure that what he considers snack to be healthy. And one of the parents felt like, oh, but no, if he's asking for these things, he hasn't tasted crackers because at that time he was 2.5, 3 years old. I'm not looking for him to be introduced to cakes, cookies, and stuff as snack. I wanted him to ask for, can I have some spinach? Can I have some tomatoes? Can I have some strawberries? Because you have to start introducing the child to food so that you could prevent, because we know the consequences, because we know what we are seeing now are a direct result from their childhood all the way to adulthood. But what does that mean? That means that we have to work with communities to improve or enhance access, right? So when we look at this health condition, we see chronic respiratory diseases, we're seeing diabetes coming up, right? We're seeing 2 million deaths per year because of diabetes or diabetic related conditions. And we're seeing not just that, if they go beyond type 2, when they reach a certain age, it's converted to type 3, where we're seeing Alzheimer's disease or with the symptom of dementia. We know that there are research coming up saying that diabetes type 3 is on the rise, relating to Alzheimer's and dementia condition, right? And because of that, we need to be mindful that we could start looking at coming up with nutritional intervention from the time that they were at zero, right? At the age of zero, all the way to the time that we are adult. Even now, as an adult, we have to be mindful how we're eating. We have to model healthy eating behaviors so that our kids or our children that's looking at our nieces or nephews are looking at us. Because what we want to do for those of us that's if we are working, we don't want to use all our funding for all the money that we're making for healthcare. We want to use it to do some other things, and that's one of the reasons that we've been mindful what we do to prevent the development of this health condition. We're seeing a rise in mental and neurological disorders, so we have to look at ways to minimize that, to mitigate that, to decrease that, so that way we could keep the community healthy, so that we could keep the community. And this is where I am making a case for farming, right? I'm making a case that each and every one of us should have a little garden in their backyard so we could have access to some healthy food. We need to do it in a way in collaboration with farmers so that we could understand the need for us to do it together. And so when I look at some of the stats, and I saw that in the Philippines, 72% of all deaths are contributed to that, we have an opportunity to address this health condition. We have the opportunity to change those numbers. We had an opportunity to decrease this number by looking at some access, health style, lifestyle behaviors, and how do we improve that. I'm in the process of conducting a study looking at those risk factors and what happened if you use a total plant-based diet. Can we reverse these health conditions? So what is it that we need to do that? What is it that we need to do it in collaborative, in concert? And I'm always going to talk about collaboration. I'm always going to talk about in concert because we cannot address this magnitude alone. One of the saying around here is, how do you eat an elephant? One piece at a time. But how do we eat an elephant faster? We do it together. So we have to look at how we could minimize the burden of chronic health diseases by looking at what are we eating. Let's go back to some of the tradition of the way we used to prepare food when fruits and vegetables was a key ingredient, where portion size would matter, where physical activity was included, where having good sleep was part of our day-to-day activities. We have to look for solutions that promote whole food and fresh food, access to it. So that means that's, again, we need to bring farming back into the picture in our relationship. We need to, while grocery store is great, we need to look at farmers market. We need to look at, because matter of fact, one of the things I'm trying to do right now, if we could bring farmers market right into campus so that the faculty, the staff, and the students will have access to fresh fruit and vegetable. When we look at smallholders, farm feed over 30% of the global population. In the Philippines, 30% of the population work in agriculture. So we have an opportunity to collaborate with farmers to enhance sustainability. We have an opportunity to do it in a way that would increase or enhance access to fresh food. And this is what I meant when I says food as medicine, because we're doing it together. We are creating access for the community. So we have some limitation, but these limitations could be addressed when we are coming together at the table. In other words, whatever program that we're creating to help improve this, it cannot just be a table full of scholars, right? We can't do it with scholars. We need to bring the farmers. We need to need the moms. We need to bring the pops. We need to bring the local clergy. We need to bring every single person that's going to benefit to that. We need to have representation at all levels, so that way that we are truly looking at it from an ecological perspective, so that way everybody could have a voice in how to help enhance the problem. And as scholars, part of our responsibility will be to guide the process in a way where we show in the data that we have the opportunity to enhance this phenomena. We need to look at how regenerative farming improves soil, water, and biodiversity. We need to look at how to boost nutrient density and create sustainability. Again, having access in a way where farming are benefiting from this, and then the community. And also look at how do we address the challenges that's associated with the environment, right? Because we're seeing a lot of environmental issues. While that is not my expertise, but we need to also bring environmentalists into the conversation, so that way we could find a way to improve access, so we could create and community health. When we look at it from a perspective of wellness trend, we want to raise the demand for wellness and for farming to be at the table to experience. So from farm to the table, right? What does that look like? We need to look at how to promote food as medicine. In other words, not just having access to food, right? But even the physician, the healthcare provider are also looking at, hey, I see that you have a high cholesterol level. Let's put you on a diet where we're increasing your fiber, so that we could minimize. Let's cut down on some of the processed food. Let's cut down on some of the saturated fat, because we could actually reverse those biomarkers without introducing medicine first, right? Without introducing a pill first. We know that we could reverse those biomarkers. We know that we could improve, create opportunity for cultural experiences, increasing and emphasize nutrition and health. And one of the things that I've done is that I've taken recipes that I've tried, and I did the analysis, and I saw the fact that how much saturated fat. I look at how the food was cooked and prepared, and how do I alter that recipe to enhance it and make it healthier without having compromising taste. Because let's be honest, good tasting food is part of why we enjoy eating so much. Right? So we need to break food bridges culture and promote international peace. We know that if I'm breaking bread with you, if we're sitting together and eating, right? If we're sitting at the same table breaking bread, we could actually come up together to create solutions. That is why I'm also advocating that the kids, the gardening process, to help kids get involved. I created a program called Kids in the Kitchen, and it was it's 3 programs. So what I did was we set up a little garden where the kids get to be involved in the planting, and they get to see the tomatoes growing, they get to see the peppers, they get to see all of it. And then I will teach them how to cook. And I had 5-year-old kids, right, from 5 to 12 kids helping. Each of them had their responsibilities. Each of them get a chance to see what it takes for us to put it together. So after we would put the meal, I had a chef come on and help prepare the meal, make it fun. We made sure that everybody was involved in the cooking process. After they would sit down there and eating, I had a young teenager that was looking for a volunteer hour to come, and guess what? Read to the kids. So for 4 hours, we helped them go back to the garden, and we will plant our seeds. And then after we do that, we got them to wash their hands, get all excited. We're going to cook a meal, and we'll prepare the meal. So in the meantime, we're exposing them. We're getting them involved in the process. And then we have somebody sitting there reading a different literature to get them involved. It was really exciting. Now, I did make some mistake in that program. Some of the mistake that I made, the parents were supposed to stay there and not leave. the campus. They were supposed to stay on campus, but what the parents were doing is they would drop their kids. They were supposed to come pick up their children by 12. Some of them will come by 1, 2, 3. Toward the end of the program, some of the parents will come pick up at 3 o'clock. So what we end up doing is having the young people that are coming to read books for longer period of time to get the kids engaged, to get the kids involved. So we start them young so that way they get involved in the process. And I mentioned that my son, he's 9 years old, but he's learning how to cook. He's learning how to make pasta, a spinach. He's learning how to make omelet, and partly because he likes to eat, and because he likes to eat, he also has to participate in the process. So we have an opportunity to bridge that food and communities together to promote a healthy community, because a healthier community is a healthier nation. So we have that responsibility. When we look at nutrition as a diplomatic strategic way to improve health, right? This is a way to do it, and we have to do it together. We could look at farmers, and traditional food could serve as our culture ambassadors. And we do it in a way where everybody's on, all hands on deck to be able to do what we are looking for them to do, right? So then when we're looking at how to integrate that into gastronomic tourism, include healthier cooking class with a local farm visit, right? Highlight traditional plant-forward meal. So we can't start it we got to start it at young, at kindergarten. Let's look at to see how things grow, how to get them to appreciate it. And you believe it or not, the kids enjoy it really well. We recently I did a virtual talk with the kids, and then with my sister's organization, and then she uses the book that I developed, and then another colleague had the children books. We brought them all together to be able to do it. See, a children author with me with a cookbook as a dietitian, and then my sister's a math teacher, right? Looking at how many seeds do we need to plant, and what do we need to see, or how deep, using that to create math, to talk about math in a healthy way, and the kids were really excited about it. We got to build partnership between farmers, chefs, tourism, scholars like you all. We got to do it together. We got to do it in concert, and we can no longer do it in silos. We can't do it in silos. We need to bring back the farmers to come together to do it. And that's why I started looking into farming. Because as a registered dietitian of 20 years, I'm seeing people getting sick. I'm seeing younger people getting sick. I'm seeing diabetes. I'm seeing cardiovascular hypertension. And I know these biomarkers could be reversed. I know that we could improve the lifestyle. So then I said, what does it look like? So when we say that, you got to eat fresh fruit and vegetable, and I'm here, but I don't have access, or, the fruits and vegetables are really expensive. So that means that we need to get together how to create farming opportunities. We need to look at, hey, look at your backyard. Let's make farming sexy again, right? Let's make farming exciting again. Let's make it part of our day-to-day language. Let me go ahead and plant my tomatoes in due season. Let me look at my spinach. Let me look at my peppers. Let me look at, because we have an opportunity to do it in a way. What kind of seed? And as a result of that, I started working with an organization called Ujama Seedling, because what they are doing is they're working with seeds throughout the community. They're also sharing those seeds with other people so they could grow various food, and so they could increase access. So we have an opportunity to build partnership between farmers, chef, and tourism, and the educational community to make that happen. We need to do it in a way where we are recognized and with various organizations. We need to link to reduce the risk of heart disease and diabetes. We need to look at for food in a way that health retreat. We need to create what I call it a healthier erosis. In other words, where we're coming together and healthy retreat, that the food that we even serve is healthy and fresh. And I don't know if you see the excitement or hear the excitement for me, because it's like what? 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm excited about farming. I'm excited about planting, because we have an opportunity to do it together. And the way we do it together is, I'm trying to convince our university to use a piece of land that I see to create a garden. I'm trying to see how can I use that plot to create a garden, so that way we have the students coming from the Department of Nutritional Sciences to come and let's look at agriculture. I have my students actually volunteering when they're doing their service, part of their service learning is they are at farm agencies. And these are students that's going into medicine and dentistry where they are learning about agriculture, because once they have access and exposure, they will see the benefit of incorporating that. They'll see the benefit when they write prescription. It's not always a pill, but it's you need 7 fruits per day. You need water. Create where we're using food as a medicine. We're using food as part of the prescription, right? And that will help create sustainability. We need to preserve biodiversity and traditional knowledge. Traditional knowledge, think about this, right? We renamed it and we're calling it regenerative farming. When this is our grandfathers, that's what they used to do. They had really good techniques. We need to look at some of those techniques to include that in our day-to-day language to be part of it. We need to show the value of farming so that we can see why it's so important. We need to look at ways to improve how we're doing it, right? We need to look at the tradition and see what worked and what did not work so that we could bring it together. We need to support food insecurity and cultural identity. We need to see this fact that, listen, food that you ship here to your country may not always be good, but food that are produced here locally maintain its integrity. And because it maintains its integrity, we could surely make it part of it. So we need to look at to see how do we empower farmer to the gastro, and by doing that is provide culinary training, right? Develop a business model, entrepreneurship, a business model that will support and enhance farming, so that way the community could have access and healthy food, right? Because I'm always going to go back to healthy food. I'm always going to go back to looking at the community. We need to create agro-tourism model to boost income. So in other words, let's allow the community to be part of it, so that let's allow the community so that we could create engagement, right? Saturday coming up, I'm heading to a farm. They're charging me $15 for me and my son. We're gonna go. We get 2 baskets to help pick strawberries, and then pick some spinach. Right? Not only will we go be part of the agro-tourism, but we also get to go help pick our apples, pick strawberries, and pick. So then it's an opportunity for my son to see the freshness of the food. It's an opportunity for it to grow so that he could see the benefit of why this is the best, because it's local, it's fresh, and it's good. From farm to table as an economic and healthy model, the farm that we have, the food we come in, we're showing how we go from what we pick from the farm to how we use to make food out of it, how we use so they could fun. So my son could actually eat a whole basket of strawberry in one sitting because he was so excited at the fact that he helped to pick that. And then when we do the same thing for peppers and tomatoes, we do the same thing for spinach. To him, this is fun because I get to go home and help prepare and cook for that. So we need to make a model where the whole family is involved in the process. When it's come to education and food literacy, nutrition education is in culinary school and tourism program is critical. We need to also do that in concert and collaboration. We need to teach respect for local farm and food tradition. We need to build awareness of food and its role to health. So food literacy is critical. And we found that improving in nutritional literacy and nutritional knowledge, not just the local food, it helped and show how local food, healthy food could improve health and minimize, and then we could tackle that beast of cardiovascular condition. We could tackle those risk factors, diabetes, hypertension, the Met syndrome, so these conditions. We could tackle mid-waist obesity, or what is called normal size obesity, where you look normal in size, but there's excessive fat within your round of your midsection, which then we cause insulin resistant. So we need to be able to do it in a way where we are improving the health of the community. Again, I always go back to the health of the community. We need to look like a framework where farmer, the equity in food, sovereignty and policy, where areas that are experiencing food insecurity, right? We need to look like to address that, and areas that have food swamp, where like in a city where you're seeing fast food all over the place, let's go back of, hey, can we change some of those food recipes, make it where there are some traditional food. And also, let's look at the portion size. How much are we eating? Are we eating too much? Is what's in our plate too much? And you know, in the US, is the portion size, it could be served 5 people, but one person is the plate. So the excessive amount of food, we need to bring it down where portion size, all right? Enjoy food, but not do it over it excessively. We need to cross-sector engagement in health, tourism, and agriculture. We need to do it in a way, in other words, I'm going back to that ecological model where we all sitting at the table for the purpose of improving not just the nutritional health, but the health of the community in general. Our health, how do we model that? How are we taking care of ourselves and taking care of our family members? And how are we teaching our children how to eat? How we do it in a way where our kids are involved in the process? Because as we are educating the young, we know that that's part of the future, so that way they could continue to educate the future where processed food. Or are we looking at food apartheid, which is a process, a system where the way the food system is created, where people don't have access? So we need to look at a framework that's holistic in aspect and to prevent, so we could really address sustainability, to really address it in a way where everybody's involved. Like, for example, in farming, and farmers that deliver food to restaurants, when the restaurants are done, how are we using that to the leftovers that are not being used? Do we have a system to create compost? And in creating compost, we then use less chemical, but improve in the I'm not saying organic, but minimize the amount of chemical. While I'm all for organic or non-chemical or traditional way of farming, because my farm that I'm in the process of I have 5 acres of land. I'm in the process of converting it to an organic farm. I'm not saying that for everybody, but what I'm saying is we have an opportunity to create compost by not the way we collect waste food. So we're not wasting it, so that we could enhance, have access to it. How do we do it in a way where we're looking at the future? What does the future look like? How can we create in a way where health and heritage and hospitality are unique?
I think we just suddenly had a technical difficulty, but I believe that we were able to get all the meat of what Dr. Shimin Castor was sharing. And can we just, with the help of IPO, confirm po if Dr. Shimin is still around po?
She's out of the meeting right now.
Out na, sir?
Yes.
Nag-end na po yun.
Can we wait for a while? Perhaps she will come back. Although she is in the airport right now for a flight at 3:30, I guess.
Let me just remind all our participants, especially our students, na we have a link where you can affix your attendance, and for you to be sent with a certificate. Dear participants, if you have questions to our speakers, please do just type it in our chat box so our speakers could answer.
Chat here in the meeting room. By the way, I want to make some announcements that please visit the page, the QSU IRO page for your certificates. We'll be posting it next week as early as Monday, perhaps. So we'll be giving two certificates. The certificate of participation if you did not complete the 3-day sessions, and we'll be giving you certificate of completion if you attended all the 3 sessions. So please do the attendance using the link that I have posted in the chat box and even at the comment section of QSU FB page. Thank you very much. Yeah, Dr. Shimin is still out. By the way, I would like to thank, of course, Dr. Wan for, of course, accepting our invitation to be the speaker for today. And of course, to our Fulbrighter, Dr. Shimen from the US of A, for accommodating us despite her very busy schedule. She's actually in the airport right now, and perhaps it's already boarding time, so she is going to the boarding area for the immediate departure. Ma'am Noki, perhaps we can continue with the program.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Oh, Dr. Shimen is back. Yeah.
Good morning again. My apologies for that. I'm not sure what happened to my network. I'm away at a conference, so I'm not home. So I'm using my phone right now to get back. So I hope that's okay. So sorry for the break in the conversation. So then we were looking at it from a futuristic perspective. What does that look like? And what is it that we need to do in terms of throughout the talk, I discussed the potential solution and how to address or how to minimize or how to improve a collaborative effort. And in doing so, we then look at it from a holistic perspective, making sure that all the stakeholders are involved to look at a future where we are bringing farming into the picture, where we're having conversation where farming is involved, scholars are involved, the communities are involved, all the individuals that could take part of this could be part of the solution. That is what I have for now. If anybody have any question, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shim. And thank you for bearing with us. It's very early in the US. It's 3:20 a.m. in the US right now. And thank you very much for giving us your time to grace our occasion on this spring convergence on gastronomic tourism for diplomacy and sustainability. Back to you, Ma'am Nobi.
Yes, sir. So, as our sign of gratitude to Dr. Shimin Castor, we award the Certificate of Recognition to Dr. Shimin Castor, PhD, EDD, RDN, CHES, FAMD, Howard University, United States of America, in grateful recognition for her invaluable service as keynote speaker during the 2025 International Spring Convergence on Gastronomic Tourism and Food Diplomacy and Sustainability held on April 11 and 25 and May 2, 2025 via Zoom teleconferencing with the theme Culinary Heritage as a Tool for Sustainable Development, given this second day of May 2025 at Quirino State University de Quirino, Philippines. Signed Dr. Ramiro Bautista, International Relations Officer, and Dr. Hermenegildo F. Samoy Jr., University President. Dr. Shimin, thank you once again, and see you soon in the future.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for the
And
invitation.
yes, yes, Doctor.
Dr. Shim, our university is a home of vast lands, a lot of farm in the university. Quirino province is a landlocked region, province with, of course, a vast land of both corn, banana, rice, and other high yield variety of crops. So thank you very much. And of course, to my good friend from Malaysia, Dr. Wan, thank you very much as well for giving us your very precious time, especially Dr. Shim. It's very early in the United States of America, and she's actually expecting for a departure very soon for her flight early this morning. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes. So we'd like to again thank our guest speakers. And due to limited time already, we'll just keep all the queries of our participants. Maybe we'll just record it for to be submitted to our guests for them to answer in the future. But before we go and before Dr. Shimin will have her departure, may we just grab this time to have our photo opportunity. Then we'll have our closing remarks by our Dr. Divina Gracia. So everyone po, can we open our video cams? And by the help of our ITO, paki-picturean po ang ating mga participants.
My apologies, I'm not in the office, so please bear with me.
All good. First panel and second panel. Okay, I think we're all good. So to officially close our convergence, may we hear the panel message from Dr. Divina Gracia S. Sabio, our campus administrator, QSU Dipon. Dr. Sabio.
Thank you, Ma'am Novi. To our international collaborators, particularly for this afternoon, Dr. Castor and Dr. Juan. The QSU family, headed, of course, by our very own president, Dr. Jun Samoy Jr. Key officials here present, esteemed speakers and lecturers, students, friends, ladies and gentlemen. Those who are watching live online, good afternoon. On behalf of the Quirino State University and the Internationalization Relations Office, headed by Dr. Ramiro G. Bautista, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to all who have contributed to the success of this 2025 International Spring Convergence on Gastronomic Tourism, Food Diplomacy, and Sustainability. We've been privileged to hear from esteemed speakers who shared their knowledge and expertise on vital topics, from traditional and modern food preservation techniques to innovative sustainable food processing methods, and other lectures that were equally important and essential. Your insights have not only deepened our understanding, but also inspired us to move forward with a greater commitment to food security, sustainability, and innovation in food systems. To our international and local speakers, thank you for gracing us with your time and expertise. Your presence today has truly elevated the quality and relevance of our discussions. To our program chairs, moderators, faculty, and staff, and all our students, thank you for your dedication and active participation. And to our Master of Ceremonies, Ma'am Novi, thank you for guiding us smoothly through the sessions. Let this event be a stepping stone toward greater global collaboration and cooperation and advocacy for sustainable development. May we continue to learn, lead, and contribute meaningfully in our respective fields as we persevere to serve God and humanity by molding minds and shaping futures. Thank you. Until next time, God bless everyone.
Thank you din po, Dr. Sabio, for wrapping up our day with those meaningful insights and reminders. So, ayun po, thank you once again to our local and international guests, faculty, students, and partners who made this event a success. May today's Convergent and even those two previous meetings inspire you to be champions of sustainable development through food, culture, and collaboration, like Dr. Shimin keep on emphasizing. So this has been your Master of Ceremony, Nobilin Agapito. Mabuhay and God bless us all. Goodbye po.
Thank you very much, everyone. See you in the 2026 International Spring Convergence, Gastronomic Tourism, Food Sustainability, and Diplomacy. Thank you very much. Of course, I would like to thank our ITO and, of course, our Information Office. So thank you very much for the technical assistance you have accorded for the entire duration of our convergence. Thank you very much.